Hey, how are you doing?
Yeah. Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
All right, good.
Yep.
Camera's over here, computer's over here, so pardon me while I move around a little bit. And I'm just gonna get this camera situated for a minute. Boom, that looks a little bit better. Okay, so I'm gonna get the microphone hooked up, and I'll say, why don't we give it 3 or 4 minutes, and we'll go ahead and get started. So it looks like we got Devin is on. Thela, is Thela on? And who else are we missing here? Evelyn, can you guys hear me, see me okay?
Yes. Yep.
Yes, okay, good. So does your guys' cameras work? If you guys' cameras work, if you can get your cameras on, there we go. Thela, you're with us live. Evelyn, good to see you guys. I'm looking over here, but the camera's over here, so that's unless we can get you guys on the big screen. So how about this? Edgar is going to work on getting this on the big screen. I'm going to go get the microphone so it's not echoey, because right now I'm talking into that. Oh, you got the microphone there. Good. I'll get mic'd up here, and I'll go grab my drink, and we'll get started. So go ahead, give yourself a minute or two. I just want to get my water filled up, and we'll be good to go. Cool? Good? All right. Sounds good. Yeah, I don't know if it can hook up there anymore. I was trying earlier, and it wasn't connected. Yeah.
These little smart plug and TVs ain't so smart anymore.
Right.
Oh man. Did you get to see the fights over this weekend? No. Oh my god.
I heard it.
Jeez. Oh. You gotta see this fucking knockout. I was talking to my cousin, he didn't pay for the fights. He was just
Hello? Can you guys hear me? Okay, awesome. Hey, don't worry, guys. I just got it on mute. I see somebody just tapping their headphone.
Good stuff. Got that to work. All right, nice. Okay, guys, so let's go ahead and kick off our first day of training here. Let me tell him to turn this music down. Hey, Edgar, can you turn the music down? Just because it's right on that wall. So let's break down what we're going to go over today, this week, for the next few weeks, get everybody ready. So today, what we're going to do is spend about an hour or so, and then we'll take a break, and then we'll spend about another hour. So about 2 hours total. First hour, we'll just go over some general things to look out for the next 3 weeks, 3 months, 3 years, just general stuff that you want to take some notes on for sure. Then after that, we'll take a break. And when we come back for the second part today, we're going to go over numbers. So we're going to dive into some numbers. So definitely going to need you to make sure your pencils are sharpened and that your calculators are charged up and ready to do some math, but it won't be crazy math. So the good news is somebody asked me one time, they said, do I need to know math to work at that company? Like, how good do you need to be at math? And I basically was like, can you divide by 12? If you could divide things by 12, you'll be pretty good. Or if you can multiply by 12, you'll be pretty good. Okay, so I'll dive into that in the numbers. So let's just dive right into it. So the first thing I always go over is today is understanding the opportunity. So before you even get into the opportunity, I think it's important to understand what you have in front of you and how it works. And sure, we'll go over some math today, some numbers. And for me, I'm more of a mathematical, logical type of guy. So if you could show me numbers, it makes sense of things for me a lot. But also we're going to talk about the conceptual things and mentally getting our head wrapped around what it's going to take in our career. It's a brand new career, guys. So there's going to be a lot to learn. Somebody wrote on a board one time, they wrote CANI, can I? And then I was like, well, what's that mean? And it means constant and never ending improvement. So when you get into this business, that's pretty much what you're signing up for. You're signing up for the chase, not the destination. You know, and it's kind of like I just comes to my mind right now. But you ever hear of the whole lion? Like they said, if a lion sees a dead zebra laying there, he's probably not even going to go eat it because he ain't really about the prize. He's about what? The hunt, chase. He would rather hunt that thing down, right? So in this business, there's always going to be a bigger goal for us to accomplish, always going to be something else to learn, something new to learn. And you can get like obsessed with getting to a destination and thinking that you arrived, because when you get to a destination, what do? You arrive. And then if you ever have that syndrome of people get I've arrived syndrome, and that's a scary place to be, right? And they said that's like having destination disease.
You're just so obsessed mentally with getting to this certain destination. And you feel like when you get there, everything's going to be all good and dandy, but it's like somebody working out. If somebody worked out because they wanted to get their body to a certain point, you don't get to that destination and then stop working out when you get there. You're going to go right back to where you were, right? So it's always going to be something we got to keep pushing, keep pressing. So anyways, that's the exciting part of the business. I can't tell you, I wake up every day excited because I know there's bigger and better and more and new things that I could do and improve and learn on. So I really like that about just the business in general. There's always going to be stuff to grow and learn and do. But we'll talk about today in the first hour or so with our time. Let's talk about what your first 2 to 3 weeks is going to look like. The first 2 to 3 weeks, and then the first 2 to 3 months, and the first 2 to 3 years. Okay. So the first 2 to 3 weeks is training class, is the first 2 weeks. That is a formal class that we're going to do every afternoon. So this class that we're in today, we'll be hopping on the same link every day, same link, same time, 1 o'clock. And each day we're going to be learning more and more stuff and adding more tools into our tool belt. So, and you're having different teachers each day as well. So plan on that for the next 2 weeks, this time slot, block that off for you to just hunker down, get your pen and notepad out, learn, take some notes, and just classroom setting type of training. Now, in the mornings, what we're going to do for the next 2 weeks in the mornings is you should be role playing. So that's where you're going to be practicing with a peer your presentation, going over it back and forth. Just like if you're a baseball player, it's playing catch, practicing your batting, practicing your pitching, practicing with another player, getting used to the repetitions. So in the mornings, it's going to be role playing for the next 2 to 3 weeks, basically like 9 until noon, 3 hours of just practicing role playing your presentation. So by the end of this week, you should have a good 12 hours of just role playing in practicing. Then in the afternoons, we'll be in class. And then in the evening, that's when you'll be in the field, either setting or seeing appointments. So the way we run our schedule is Monday, we set appointments for Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, we set appointments for Friday, Saturday. So today's Monday. So today, you'll be in class in the afternoon, like we are now. And then after class, you'll have a chance to take a little break. There's a good hour break in between class. And then you'll hop on the phones tonight with your manager and learn how to make phone calls. And if you're able to, maybe you might be able to help set appointments tonight. But if you're not able to set appointments tonight, it's your first night or something, then we'll have you watch, observe, and then probably Thursday, we'll have you setting some appointments on your own. So the goal for you, though, is you want to, as quick as possible, start setting your own appointments. You really don't want to be on the sidelines watching your manager book them all the whole time. The sooner you can grab the phone and make some phone calls yourself and start booking them yourself, the sooner we can move on to the next stage of your learning phase in the career, right? So the good news is setting the appointments, it's not brain surgery or rocket science. It really is a matter of making the phone calls and saying the scripts. So 2 parts. Number one, you have to be able to have the work ethic to actually sit there, make those phone calls. And second of all, be coachable enough to just say the words that are on that script. And if you call more people and talk to more people, you're going to set more people than anybody else. And if you set more people, you'll see more people. And if you see more people, you'll sell more people. So I always tried to win on the phones first. And I knew that if I made more phone calls than everybody else, I more likely am going to talk to more people than everybody else. So I was like, it's actually too simple and too easy if you think about it. And I always tell people, I use this word, but it's rather barbaric if you actually think about it. There's really no finesse. There's no fanciness in it. It is literally whoever can pick up the phone and make the most phone calls is going to talk to the most people. You know, and whoever, think about it. If Devin talks to more people than Thala talks to, who do you think's probably going to set more appointments this week? Probably the person who, Devin, right? You talk to more people. Now, if he sets more appointments than Thala sets this week, then who do you think is going to give more presentations this week? Pretty straightforward. Probably going to be Devin. Now, if Devin gives more presentations than Thala, then who do you think's probably going to make more sales this week? Probably Devin. And he's going to have more ALP, more success, and more everything. So it really boils down to, can you be almost, they say, can you be like dumb enough to be smart enough, or smart enough to be dumb enough just to make the phone calls and not overthink it and not overcomplicate it? So that's first of all. And then second of all, though, is when these people get on the phones, if I start talking Chinese to them, it's probably not going to work out in my favor. You know, I'm going to have to say the script, and I got to say the script the right way. You know, so now it comes down to being coachable, and that's what the phones are all about, making the calls, using that script, and it's not that complicated. So now Mondays, that's today, that's phones. Tomorrow, what's the situation going to look like tomorrow? Tomorrow in the mornings, we're going to role play our presentations. So you're going to practice it. In the afternoon, we'll have a class. And then tomorrow evening, you should have appointments set up with your manager. And tomorrow evening, you and your manager will go on those appointments and do those together. Now, the whole goal during week one is to get you to be 50% comfortable with the presentation. So by the end of this week, the goal is for you not to know the whole thing front to back and be the best at the whole thing. The goal this week is for you to master the first half, but master it. So we would rather you know the first half of the presentation and know it 100%, rather than you know the full presentation, but only know it 50%. Does that make sense, guys? So week one, you got to master the first half. Week two, that's when we're going to focus on the second half. So this week, guys, focus is just on first half of the presentation and mastering that. So what we would want to do now is Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday mornings, we're going to role play in the mornings. So what we want to do is Tuesday morning, role playing, 25% of the presentation. Wednesday morning, 35%. Thursday morning, 45%. And then Friday morning, you should be role playing over 50% of the presentation at that time. Does that make sense how you'd want to role play it out? Now, what's going to happen is at nighttime, when you go see your clients, that's where you're going to participate what you did in the morning. So in the morning, if we were role playing the first 25% all morning, then today when we go into the field and we got 7 appointments tonight, 8 appointments, 10 appointments, these clients we see tonight, let's say we get 4 presentations. My goal is going to be for you to do 10, 20, 30, 25% of that presentation that night. And then Wednesday is going to come around, and Wednesday morning, now we're going to role play 35%. So now at nighttime, you're going to be doing all the way up to 35% in the home. And then over the weekend, the goal is to have you doing 50% of the presentation, and then week one will be over. Okay. So that's kind of the process to learning for week one. Week two now, same thing, but 50% of the second 50%. So Tuesday morning, you might be role playing, 60, 65%, 75%. Wednesday morning, 85. Thursday morning, 95. And Friday morning, you're role playing the whole thing. Okay. And now you're able to go out at the end of week 2, you're able to go out with your manager and you're able to do a full presentation front to back. Is it going to be the best presentation in company history? Probably not. Okay. And that's what we call cross pitching almost. It's like you do one, I do one, you do one, I do one. And then we both go in there and back and forth, we're presenting that weekend. So anyways, that's your first 2 weeks in training. Now, at the end of these 2 weeks, you know, you want to have not only seen presentations, but you participated in these presentations. If you watch me do 20 presentations this week, and then next week you watch me do 20 presentations, and let's say I sold every single one of them, and then I told you, all right, here, now you go do that. Do you think you're going to be able to do 20 presentations and sell them all because you watched me do it? No. It's the same concept of you know, golf. If I had Tiger Woods in here and Tiger Woods hit the ball for you, I say, hey, I got the best golfer ever. And you're like, who is it? I'm like, you're like, no way, we got Tiger? I'm like, yeah. So Tiger Woods comes in and he hits the ball 100 times for you right in front of you. Watch this, boom, straight every time. And then he gives you the golf club and says, all right, now you do it. You just saw me do it 100 times. Do you think you're going to be able to hit the ball like he hit it? No way, right? So the key is we need to go and practice and do it. And then he needs to sit there and coach us up. So imagine, you know, he's sitting right there with you and you're doing these swings. And then every time you swing, he gives you another piece of advice. Okay. That's the way you're going to get good in this business, is by you doing it yourself and us coaching you on it and giving you pointers. That's why a lot of people who, you know, especially sports players, they film themselves. They'll film themselves shooting the basketball. They'll film themselves swinging the baseball. They'll film themselves pitching the baseball. They'll film themselves swinging the golf club. They'll film themselves throwing the football. And then they'll watch themselves. And when they're watching it, there's usually a professional right next to them that's a lot better at it than they are. And they tell them, you know, what we need to improve on. So I want you guys to just get comfortable with this, get familiar with it, get used to it, and actually make this one of your best training tools for yourself is to film yourself. So when you do these role plays and anytime you practice, if you film yourself, you'll get much more out of that practice than if you don't film yourself. So try and, like, if you're going to take 2 hours in practice, also film that as well. So you can go back and watch yourself, because what you think you did and what you actually did sometimes are different things. I've been a victim of it myself. I thought that I was doing everything right. And then my manager watched my presentation with me and instantly picked out 15 things I could have improved on. And if I never watched that, I never would have got better at my presentation, and I still would be getting beat by the same rebuttals I got beat with the week before. And my career would have grown at a slower pace. So if you could do something, learn something, fix it, and move on, you'll grow and you'll move a lot faster. And the filming is huge. It's uncomfortable. How many of you guys film yourself every day and watch yourself right now? Devin, you filming yourself every day and watching yourself?
Not every day, no, sir.
Yeah, I mean, not every day, but that's what I'm saying. So, like, most people, when I tell them to film themselves, like, what? Film myself? Like, what am I? You know, like, I'm not an actor. You know, I don't need a paparazzi around me. I'm not full of myself. You know, I don't got a big head. I don't need to film myself all. And it's not about that, though. Obviously, it's just something that's very new to most people, and for some people can be really uncomfortable. And then, you know, filming gets hard. It's uncomfortable, but watching yourself is even more nerve-wracking. I've done it before. You're not going to be happy with your voice. You're going to hate everything about it. Okay. The first time they told me to put myself on film, I put myself on film, and then my manager was like, I'll watch it with you. But I watched it before he watched it. And I was like, nah, you don't need to watch that one. I already found like 30 things that I need to fix first. So I went and put it on film again. So I'll tell you, the first few times you put yourself on film, you're gonna watch it yourself, and you're not even gonna want to show anybody else. And in fact, you're not even gonna need to show anybody else because it's gonna be pretty apparent, like the few things that you definitely want to fix next time, you know. But the good news is we've all done it. We all been there. So you can just take advice from everybody here that's been doing it, going through it. So, but anyways, I just want you to get used to that. It might be new to you, but it's a great tool to use, is the film. They say the eye in the sky never lies. The eye in the sky never lies. So if you think, you know, that, like I did a football practice one time, and I thought that I ran I thought I ran the play the right way. And then my coach told me, he said, Tommy, you messed it up. And I literally went to the coach and I was like, no, I did it the right way. And you know what he said to me? He said, well, we'll see in film session after football practice, because the eye in the sky never lies. And sure enough, we went into the film room and he showed it, and he showed me how I messed up. And not only did he show me, he rewinded it like 3 or 4 times just to make sure that I saw. So sometimes you might think that you're doing maybe better than you really are. And the filming session will really, you know, has a good way of humbling you. And the humbleness is really what we need to get better. So anyways, keep that in mind during that. Now, at the end of these 2 weeks, most people are able to go ahead and get released and start seeing clients on their own at the end of these first 2 weeks. Now, sometimes at the end of these 2 weeks, you still need some training. You might need a couple more things that you want to work on and that we need to work on with you. And I want you to know, guys, we're not here to just say, okay, 2 weeks of training is up, and now you just got to go out there and give it your best. And, you know, let's throw everybody at the wall and see if you stick type of deal. We are not in a business. We can't afford to throw everybody at the wall and see if they stick. First of all, the lead situation, if I have a union of steel workers or coal miners or Teamsters, their president signed them up to work with us. So if we go out to a client's house and we misrepresent, or we say the wrong thing, or we upset a client, they're going to go and complain to their union president. And if they complain to their president's going to shut down the operation. And that was a group of 5,000 members across the state that we're working with. And we could lose that whole entire group if we shortcut things during the training process or cut corners. So that's why on the training process on our end, we make sure that we train until you are 100% ready to meet with a client. And if we have to train you for an extra day or an extra 2 days or a week or 2 weeks, until you're ready to go, we're not just going to have anybody out there saying any random thing to our clients. So, so now 2-3 weeks go by and you get released. You get out on your own. Okay. There's 4 milestones that you want to achieve in your first 13 months. Okay. So I'll go over the 4 milestones and I'll go over how to achieve them because they're going to flow right into what we're talking about. So the first milestone is to become an agent. And that's a good milestone. To become an agent, you got to get hired. So you got to be lucky enough to find this opportunity and get hired into the opportunity. Then you have to be able to get your license, which not everyone that gets hired passes their life insurance test. Then after that, you have to memorize your script because you can't come into class without that. Then you go through the 2 to 3 weeks of training, and you have to prove that you're able to set appointments and to run appointments and make sales all on your own. And at that point, when you do that, you become an agent and you're no longer a trainee. And that's when we hit our first milestone. So milestone number 1 is when you go from trainee to an agent. Milestone number 2 is when you hit your first 100 presentations. So this goes right in the line. Right after we become an agent, the next goal is we have to go give 100 presentations live in front of clients. So your career doesn't start until you hit 100 presentations. Once you hit 100 presentations, now you're here. Now you actually started your career. Everything up until that is pregame, preseason. Those 100 presentations do not count. Those are what gets you comfortable and gets you confident. Once you're comfortable, once you're confident, that's when you can actually start really making some good moves and doing good. Up until you give 100 presentations, we're not 100%. So the saying is, and you should be saying this one day to your team, you know, when you're in management, your leadership, you know, and you're trying to teach them, is that the first time you give a presentation, you're going to be 0% comfortable and 0% confident. I remember my first presentation, I was not comfortable at all, but they kind of forced me in there. He said, "You're doing it." And I was like, "I'm not ready." He's like, "You're doing it anyways." I was like, "I'm not." He said, "If you want to wait until everything's perfect and you want to wait until you're 100% ready, then you're never going to do it. You're going to be waiting forever," is what he told me. So the temperature is never going to be perfect. The timing's never going to be right. You're never going to feel 100% when you go and do it. You just got to do it. Okay. But the first presentation, you're 0% comfortable, 100% uncomfortable. Second presentation, you're 1% comfortable and confident. You're 99% uncomfortable and unconfident. So it's going to take, you know, when you give 10 presentations, now you're 10% comfortable, but you're still 90% not confident. So you can see the progression here. After 30, now you're 30%. Now after 60, then you're 60%. So it's going to take 100 of these presentations before you're 100% comfortable. Once you give 100 presentations, you just hit your second milestone in your career. Now watch how cool this is. If you do your 100 presentations the right way, then you should be hitting your third milestone, which is your first promotion. Your third milestone that you can hit here is your first promotion in your career. Well, I'm going to do a little bit of numbers with us real quick, okay? To give 100 presentations, how long would that take? How many weeks would it take to give 100 presentations? Well, how many presentations per week are we giving? We should be giving 12, but on average, we're going to use 10. So if I give 10 presentations a week and I need to give 100 presentations, how many weeks will that take? 10 weeks. 10 weeks. Okay. So now you could think, all right, so I went through training and now I'm out on my own and I got to give 100 presentations. So you set out on your journey and you're like, you start just doing 10 a week, 10 a week, 10 a week. And if I keep doing 10 a week, I'm going to pick my head up 10 weeks from now and I'll have 100 presentations, right? So if you do 100 presentations, how many people would you enroll? How many people would buy? How many would you sell if you did 100? 30. We're closing right now, guys, over 30%, but let's just use 30%. So we would close 30. Now, the average client, what does the average client pay? Anybody know what the average client pays per month? 100?
800 ALP, right?
800, there you go. 800 ALP is the word. So ALP stands for Annualized Life Premium. So Devin was correct. The average client pays about $800 a year. So that's when I said before about doing math. Can you divide by 12? Times by 12? Because if you can do that, that's the math we do. So 800 a year divided by 12 is 67 a month. Okay. So if you sat with 100 people and 30 of them bought, 30 of them are going to buy at $67 a month, which is $800 a year. So I'll take 30 times 800 ALP, and that's going to equal the total amount of sales that I'm going to make over that time frame. Now, in order to get promoted from an agent to a supervisor, the agent has to do 24,000 over 90 days. So today was a special day. We had a bunch of people who did that over the last 90 days or so. And that was their goal. It didn't happen on accident. We mapped all this out. We made sure that they were giving at least 10 presentations a week. Some of them were giving a lot more than that. And we made sure that they were getting at least their 2,000 ALP per week that they needed. And then we tracked it. And at the end of the first month, because you got to do 24,000 over 90 days. So you over a 3-month period, you have to do 24,000. That's the goal. Well, basically that's like 8,000 a month. 8,000 a month is basically 2,000 a week. So we broke it down to the ridiculous on the weekly numbers, and showed them 2,000 ALP is like $167 check or something like that, $180 check or whatever it costs. So then we broke it down on the check sizes as well. So now let's see here. So now let's say if you have to do 24,000 over 90 days, month 1 goes by, you do 10,000. So now what do we need to do in month 2 to get promoted? Do 14,000, you're promoted at the end of month 2. If you want to take, but technically you don't got to do 14,000 in month 2. You could do 14,000 over month 2 and month 3. So month 2, but you try and do 14,000 in month 2, and you end up doing 8. So month 1 you did 10, month 2 you did 8. What do you need month 3 to get promoted? 6. So now we just focus, coach, and just try and make sure we hit our 6. Once you hit that 6, boom, promoted, we're on to the next one, right? So what's nice, guys, is if you do the milestone thing and you hit your milestones, you should be right on pace. When you hit your second milestone, which is what, 100 presentations, you should also be getting your third milestone as well, because you should be hitting your 24,000 ALP right around that same time, you know? So your third milestone is when you get that promotion. I did 24, I came in July of 2008. That was my first month. I did 24,000 in July of 2008. And I got promoted at the end of that month. So I didn't wait 2 months. I didn't wait 3 months. I went out and did it my very first month. In my office, for years, I've had many, many awards and trophies and everything. In my office, I've only kept 1 award on my desk for the last 13 years. And when I was Agent of the Month, July 2008, I did 24,000. That was the foundation of everything. I started out #1 agent. So when I was privileged to lead other people, guess what I was able to train them to do? Be #1 agent, right? And I was able to train them to teach their people how to be #1 agents. So we had such a foundation of greatness from the beginning on that front. Now, the 4th milestone we can hit now, since there's 4 of them, right? We got the first 3. Everybody got the first 3? All right, first 3. All right, good. So the 4th milestone now is when you get your first residual income check. Now, you do not get a residual income check until you've been here for 13 months, because that means the policies have now paid a full year and now they're in renewal mode. Okay. So when we get paid, guys, I'm going to go over the breakdown for you here and show you how much we get paid after we take a break. So promise you, I got a break in between here, but I'm going to break that how we get paid. And you're going to see how the renewals work. You're going to see how the commissions work and how the money works in the first year, and then how the money works in the second year and beyond. And then also we're going to go over when you do get promoted and you reach your supervisor, what does that look like versus an agent? Because now the compensation is a little different when you're in leadership versus an agent. So I want to break that down for us too. A couple other things to just kind of keep in mind is, now you're going to go through these 2 to 3 weeks, 2 to 3 months, but now we got to look at 2 to 3 years. So career path for everybody is always different. It's always different. Okay. But the leadership career path is what we're going to go over mostly today. Some people never elect to get into the leadership career path. Leadership is a whole nother animal. It's a lot more that goes into that. We have some people that take a career path as an agent, as a producer, as a career agent, and they go and they accomplish you can get promoted, you can earn higher contracts, higher renewals. You could earn President's Club. Geo is a President's Club award winner. You could earn Founders Club. You could earn Top Producer for the Year awards and all that kind of stuff with the company. So there's all kind of different goals to hit and achievements to achieve when you become an agent and you just work on that. Some people get into leadership and management, and then there's some other different goals and achievements and numbers and things you want to hit on that side. And the compensation works a little differently when you get into management. So I'll talk about that. So for the career path now, how long does it usually take? Okay. Well, if you started from start to becoming a supervisor, can be 3 to 6 months if you're working at that career path. So 3 to 6 months. So let's say 6 months from now, you become a supervisor. Okay. So now when you become a supervisor, what is the career path? How long does it take before I can look at maybe getting to become a manager? Like Tommy Whalen today. Tommy Whalen got promoted from a supervisor to a manager today, right? Well, the biggest thing that you need to do to become a manager is you need to develop a supervisor. That's why Tommy became a manager today, because he was able to, he recruited, he trained, and he developed Matt Jans. Matt Jans, over the last 3 months, hit his numbers because Tommy coached him up every month on what he needed. Matt Jans hit his number. So Tommy was the SA, and he got his agent to work hard and get promoted to a supervisor. So now they both can't be supervisors, right? So, Matt Jans held the supervisor promotion. Now Tommy gets to be the manager in that situation. So how long can that take? It can take another 3 to 6 months, really. However long it really takes you to get your new person that you're training to a supervisor. Well, let me ask you, how qualified do you think you are to be a supervisor? And how qualified do you think you are to teach someone how to do 24,000 in 90 days? Well, let me tell you, you just did it. Last time, if you're a supervisor, guess what you just did? You just did 24,000 over 90 days. So who could be better than you to teach them how to do it? You just did it. So that's when you become a supervisor. All you do is say, all right, I just did this. Now I got to teach my new person how to do what I just did. And the good news is I just did it. So I can teach them how to do it. So you see how beautiful that works? So now you get on there, and Wright did a phenomenal job with this. Wright came in, worked really hard, became a supervisor just like that, just like you guys are going to do. And then Reich, when he became a supervisor, he trained Faith and Marvin. And Faith and Marvin, we mapped it out. It took them like 4 months. And boom, 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 boom. Before you know it, they hit their numbers. And he was able to promote to a GA and have them two be promoted to SAs all at the same time. It was beautiful. So it's all numbers, it's all math. And I'll go into the math and the numbers a little bit now, I guess. Let me see, what time is it on a break? 150. Okay, we could do this. We could do a little bit of numbers. So let's just talk about what it takes to get promoted. And then this will save us time when we go over the second half of things. Okay. So what it takes to get promoted is from an agent to the supervisor is 24K over 90 days. When you want to go from a supervisor to the GA, that is 90K over 90 days as a team. Now I'll show you how to map all this out because it's all math. It's all math. So the agent, 24K over 90 days, all that is this. If they see 10 people a week and make 3 sales, they're going to do at least 2,000 ALP a week. And if they do 2,000 ALP a week, times that by 4 weeks, and they're going to do 8,000 ALP for the month. And if you do 8,000 ALP for a month times 3 months, that'll put you at 24,000 over 90 days. So that's the math on the agent position. Hopefully that makes sense, right? Okay, all right, good. Now to go from the agent to the SA, we just figured it out, but now you're an SA. Now you're an SA. And you got to get your team to do 90K over 90 days, right? So what does that look like per week? That is going to look like if you have 3 people on your team, plus yourself would be a total of what? 4. So like if I draw this out, I hate drawing this out because people they're like, that looks like a pyramid. I'm like, that's just the way it is, okay? But get over it. SA, agent, agent, agent. Agent 1, agent 2, agent 3, you are the SA. If these agents do 2, 2, and 2 for the week, and then you also do 2K, because you're going to lead from the front, that means everybody here did average. Your team for the week did a total of what? 8K. If your team does 8K for a week, how much is that a month? Times it by 4 is what? 32,000 a month. If your team does 32,000 for a month, times that by 3 months, and that's 96K, and we need to be at 90 over 90 days. So the path is all math, and the key here is about 4 people doing average numbers, one of them being yourself. So pretty straightforward right there. So how fast can you get basically 3 people to hit some average numbers? Okay, next one now is going to be from the GA to the MGA. This is the big jump. This is the big one right here. I'm going to go over the income after we take a break. Okay, I'm just showing you how to hit these numbers. Now, when you hit these numbers, you also go over the income at these levels, and you can see the different ways we get paid. So you know how to figure this stuff out. So now, if we have a GA and they want to go to the MGA, well, they have to get their team to do 180K over 90 days. So the way the math looks like on this would be is a GA would have essays. So you got to think, if I'm a GA and I have 2 essays and each essay has 3 people. So this essay right here has 3 people plus themselves. So they'll do 2, 2, 2, and then 2. So this SA team is doing 8K, just like we went over. This SA has 3 people, all doing 2. They're doing 8,000 as well. So the GA's team, not including their personal production, is going to be doing about 16,000 a week in this situation. Well, if you do 16,000 a week, 16K a week, how much is that a month? Times that by 4, that's 64K in a month. Times that now by 3 months, and you're on your way to doing 192,000 over 90 days. And we need 180K over 90 days. So the key is when you're a manager, when you're a GA, if you have 8 people, you're pretty much right in target to start knocking on the door to hit your MGA numbers. Now, when you get promoted to the MGA, to go from an MGA to an RGA is you have to promote an MGA. So today, Josh went to an RGA because Drew, here's what it looked like, guys. It looked like this. Josh was the MGA, okay? Drew was a GA. Tommy was the SA. They worked hard. Everybody hit their numbers. They needed what they needed to do. Drew now is now promoted to the MGA as well. And Josh now is his RGA. So once you promote someone to an MGA, you become their RGA, their regional general agent. Average income in these positions, we'll go over and you'll see the numbers, but average agent is 40 to 60,000 first year, no experience. Average supervisor is 60 to 100. Average manager is 100 to 150, which is the GA. So agent 40 to 60, SA 60 to 100, GA 100 to 150, MGA is $150,000 plus, RGA is $250,000 plus. So my first year when I came in, I worked really, really hard. I kept my head down. My first month, I wrote 24,000, which was great. I made $12,000 my first month. I was 24 years old. Actually, my birthday was that month. So July of 2008, it was my birthday. I turned 25. I wrote 24,000. I made $12,000. I couldn't believe it. More money than anybody in my family's ever made. If you're 24 years old and you make $12,000 in a month, what would you do? What would you do? Coming from where I came from, where you don't make that kind of money ever, wasn't even thought about or talked about, I did the dumbest thing that you could do, right? I went to the jewelry store and I bought a $4,000 gold chain. That's 24-year-old Tommy for you, okay? Just so you guys know how wacky I was, you know? So anyway, I bought this white gold chain. It was beautiful, man. It had a dog tag on it, and the dog tag had a cross in it made of diamonds. And I love this thing, man. And then over the next 3 years, gold prices skyrocketed. So the value of that thing went up. And then one day, someone broke into my car and stole it, my chrome heart sunglasses and my MacBook. Yeah. Yeah.
Not the chrome.
Yeah, that's God's way of saying you didn't need that shit, man. So anyways, I slowed down on the jewelry since. Every piece of jewelry I ever bought, it ends up not in a good situation. I lose it. So, but that's beyond the point. But that was my first month in the business. So hey, you know, I hope you guys can break my record. I hope that you guys can do more than 24,000 your first month. But I also hope you don't break my record at the jewelry store either. So hopefully you break the record with that, and then you actually do something smart with the money. But what that did though, it really catapulted me because, man, I really believed in what I was doing before that, and then I made $12,000. So then my belief really went through the roof. But do you think that I would have made $24,000 worth of sales in my first month if I didn't believe in what I was doing? It's like you don't make the sales and then be like, oh yeah, I really believe in this shit now. That's backwards. You have to really believe in what you're doing before you even got any success, before the company pays you any money, before you make any sales. And then that's how the sales come. It's like a whole hustling backwards mentality where people will say that, when I start getting paid professional income, I'm going to start really working like a professional. When this career starts paying me professional income, I'm going to start treating this career like a professional would. I'm going to start putting in professional preparation. I'm going to start putting in professional work ethic. When they make me the president of the company, I'll start acting like the president. When they make me a leader, I'll start acting like a leader. When they start paying me like a top salesperson, I'm going to start acting like a top salesperson. All of that is backwards. You have to first act like the top salesperson for a long period of time before you become the top salesperson and get paid like the top salesperson. You have to act like the leader before you're ever a leader. You have to act like the president before they make you the president. My dad would always say, dress for the position that you want, not for the position that you have. So all that kind of, made sense to me though, in the career. So I came in, guys, and after my first month, I became a supervisor. And then I recruited 10 people that month as well. And before you know it, they start passing their test and coming in. After another month went by, I went from a supervisor to a manager. So 2 months went by, I'm a manager, GA. Then for the next 6 months, I spent as a GA getting ready for my MGA position. I didn't want to be an MGA until I dominated the GA position. So I made sure I was like #1 GA multiple times in a row, got all kind of GA awards. And then I said, all right, I'm done with the GA. I'll never go, because I never wanted to go back. So I kind of wanted to do it the right way. So I got promoted to the MGA guys after 8 months, about 8 months. So I started in July of 2008. I promoted to a MGA in March of 2009. Took about 8 months or so of just hard work, sacrifice, dedication. I put the blinders on. I didn't even know when my grandma's birthday was. I'll be honest with you. My mom had to call and remind me of everything because I was in the zone. I mean, really, I didn't know what was going on. You couldn't tell me if the Steelers won or lost, and I was a #1 Steelers fan. I didn't know who was starting. I didn't know nothing. All I knew was AIL. I lived it. I breathed it. And people were like, oh, you're just drinking the Kool-Aid. And I had to tell them, I'm not drinking the Kool-Aid. I'm swimming in the Kool-Aid. I'm not just sipping around, sipping on this stuff. I'm like all up in the Kool-Aid. It's all around me. It's above my head. It's going in my ears. It's nonstop. It's in front of me, behind me, up me. But I was involved majorly into the business. I dedicated everything I had to this. And I really think if you want to get everything out of something, you got to be willing to put everything into it. They say the person that's going to win a fight is the one that's willing to die. You don't have to die, but you got to be willing to die. That's how far you got to go into a fight. And that's the mentality that I had into this business. I'll put it all on the line. It didn't matter what it was. I would have sacrificed every minute of the day, and every dollar and every nickel in my bank account will go into this, And I knew that it was all going to come back tenfold. And it did, way more than I ever could have thought. So, I promise you that. So 8 months went by, became an MGA. I made $120,000 my first year with this company by putting my head down and just grinding and working. But I also did that while driving around. We don't have to drive anymore. So the opportunity now is way better than it ever was. I was spending, I swear to you, it would take me an hour and a half to 2 hours just to get to my area. So imagine right now, your area is like an hour and a half from your house. So you get in your car to drive an hour and a half all the way to this area, and then you have your schedule and all of your appointments are on this schedule, and you have to drive to Baker Street. And then after you get out of that house, then you got to put in your map and you got to go to like Main Street, and Main Street's all the way on the other side of town, you know, so you got to drive there, you got to park your car, you got to get out, you got to knock on their door, you got to make sure you're ready, your breath don't smell. I mean, you got to make sure you're good to go. And sometimes the clients wouldn't be there. Right now, if you have an appointment and it's virtual, and for some reason the client doesn't show up, it sucks. But at least you didn't drive an hour and a half. That was way worse. That was way worse. So I did all that my first year, and I was also driving and putting all these miles on my car, and it was a lot. Getting home at 2 o'clock at night and being back at the office at 8 o'clock in the morning, making it happen. So at that point, guys, I focused on building my MGA team when I became an MGA. In my second year, I worked on building my MGA team, developing my leaders, growing, doing all the behind the scenes stuff, planting seeds. And the following year, I got promoted to an RGA, a regional director, because I promoted my GAs to MGAs. So my second year at the company, I made $200,000. My third year with the company, I made $512,000 as an RGA. That was 2011. In 2012, in 2011, we were number 3 RGA in the company. In 2012, we were number 2 RGA in the company. And we were on stage that year. We got a big award from home office, got to meet the president and everything. I made $937,000 that year. That was 2012. It was my 4th year with this company. And that was as an RGA position. So typically the people that make $1 million or more in this business are the RGAs. There's a few MGAs that do it big and they make about $1 million. There's a few MGAs. Most MGAs are $250,000, 500, big ones 750, but RGAs are the ones touching close to $1 million, you know. So that's the positions right there. So from that point forward, guys, my residual income has grown every single year. I've never made less than $1 million. I don't even know, 8 years in business now, and now I get $22,000 a month just in residual income before I wake up. So I'm closing on a house this week. It's in Barrington, North Barrington here. It's a place called the Milestone. Is a gated community. You can't even get into my community if you wanted to, because they would stop you at the gate. You can't get in unless you're on my list. And then there's a guy who drives around in a security SUV 24/7 around my neighborhood. Where I grew up, you had to have a shotgun, like right next to the bed. You know what I'm saying? There's 2 of them. I have 2 guns. I got my what is that? 380? Is that what I have? Was the Smith & Wesson 380? I got it right in the bed, and I got the shotgun right around the corner. You know, where I'm living, I'm not going to need that. Every house in my neighborhood, $2 million home. Frank Thomas is my neighbor. That's what American income does for people. When you get $22,000 a month in your mortgage, you could buy a $2.3 million house, and your mortgage could be $13,000 a month, and that's no big deal. With an indoor pool and an outdoor pool on a golf course built by Jack Nicklaus. And it has a recording studio for all my music buddies who want to come over and record music. Got a recording studio in it for no reason. Has a $250,000 movie theater in it. Like what? That's AIL. That's what this company is about. That's 12 years in this business. And I promise you this. This is not a public service announcement, okay? This is the real life. The opportunity that you have now with this company is way better than when I came in 12 years ago. So for you to pick your head up 12 years from now, I could only hope that you guys can say that you're going to be, you're doing twice what I'm doing. You're getting $40,000 a month in residual income, because that's the opportunity you guys have 10 years from now, you know? So that's been the last 10, 12 years for me with the company. And then, obviously I stepped up to the SGA position, and that allowed me to open up more doors for a bunch more RGAs and MGAs to start, taking their promotions and leading the way. So let's take a little bit of a break. What time is it now? Is it 2:10? Okay. Is 15 minutes good for you guys? It'll fly by, I promise. Let's do 15 minutes. We'll break right now. 2:25. We'll get right back in here. We'll go 2:25 to 3:25. We'll go 1 hour, and I'll probably get it done in less time because we actually covered some of the stuff I wanted to cover now. Okay. So 2:25. We'll come back in, calculators, numbers. We're going to go pay, agent, SAGA, MGA, RGA, and all that stuff. And if you guys have any questions, definitely make sure you ask before we get off the call today. Cool. All right. Let's take a quick one. I'll see you guys back in a couple minutes. I'll leave the screen up too and everything. What do you think? No, not bad. Easy. How about now, Dev? Can you hear it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good stuff.
Hey, Victor and Tao asked me to ask you to let them back in because they left the meeting and they're in the waiting room.
Okay. Well, they're text them right now. Tell them I don't see them. Evelyn's ready to go. We'll see if we need to get these other guys in here. I'm gonna erase this on the board. We don't need this up anymore, right? How's this look on the screen for you guys? Pretty clear?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see it pretty good.
Okay. Should I move the camera closer?
I think you're good. I do have one question though that I think you might have missed going over.
Yeah.
How do I get to your shoes? How do I get to that state director position?
You have to be a top RGA in the company. And then they will extend an invitation for you to be an SGA.
Gotcha.
And they asked me to be an SGA many, many years before I became an SGA. I could have been an SGA after 5-6 years with the company. But you have to move to that state that you want to be a state director in, you know, and start all over from scratch. So I'm like, wait a minute. You want me to do what? I'm like, I'm making $1 million. I live in Pittsburgh, which is like 10 million really, because Pittsburgh's cheap, you know? Oh, there we go. Let me let everybody in. Okay. Yeah, well, and then the opportunity was whatever they had. So the states they offered me at the time was Wisconsin. I wasn't too big on that. They offered me like a Philadelphia. They offered me different territories. So number one, you have to work really hard and be a top RGA, and then the company will reach out to you and offer you an opportunity to be an SGA. And then you got to move, start over. So at this point, you've built a big team. Now they want you to go start over again. And then you got to take on all the expenses of being the SGA. So, you know, when you get this office right here is 10 grand a month, but they want the first month, last month, security deposit. So I had to show up to the door here with 30 grand, you know, just to get in without getting the cable run, the wires run. $9,000 to get the walls painted, or maybe even more than that, because you had to hire a union painter. Me and Drew and Josh were going to do. We showed up here with buckets and paint. We were going to paint this stuff ourselves. And the lady stopped us and she said, "No, you can't put no paint on this walls. This has to be union." I'm like, "Oh, well, so can you get me a union guy?" So she gets this union guy to come down and meet me, and I met him downstairs in her office. And I don't know if this is just in my memory, if it really happened like this, but she pulls me into, you know, in her office, and the lights were like off. It was like a day like this, but they didn't have no lights on, you know. It's like this, you know, the lights were off. and she's like, "Oh yeah, I want you to meet, you know, the union painter." And this guy's sitting in the chair, and he gets up, and he's this big Italian guy, okay, just big everywhere, just big Italian guy. He's like, "Oh, how you doing?" I'm like, "Oh, how you, my name's Tommy. What's your name?" He's like, "Oh, my name is Gino." And I'm like, "Oh, okay, Gino." I'm like, "That's nice." And she's like, "Yeah, he does union." I'm like, "Gino, by just out of thought, I'm just out of curiosity, what's your last name?" Like, that was my question to him, because I'm Italian, you know. So I'm like, "Just what's your last name?" He's like, "Gambino." I said, "Okay, Gino Gambino, the Italian union painter that first got." Like, how much more classic can this get right now? So anyways, yeah, there's a lot that goes into it, brother. You got to have $100,000 to put into technology. You know, the impact app that you guys have, like for me to get that for everybody, it cost 100,000 right out the gate just to get that. So you know, it's a couple hundred grand if you want to start it up and do it right. Now I could have opened this place up and got a smaller office and went small, but that's not how I know how to do things. My friends and family tell me, man, every time you do something, it just got to be the biggest. You just can't get the small TV. You go there and they tell you the biggest TV is whatever, and then you always got to say, well, don't you got anything bigger? You know, so that's just the way that it is. So anyways, to get into the numbers, I might put the lights back on, unless this is cool. You guys let me know about this, the whiteboard here, and we'll put the lights on if we got to put it on. All right, so let's get into the numbers. So when we get paid, when we get compensated, we'll go over the activity real quick. We just kind of briefly went over it before, but if you set yourself with 10 appointments, you're gonna sell 3 people. And in order to sell those 3 people, the average client would be 800 ALP. Is that better or worse? I just was at the eye doctor. They kept doing that to me. Number 1 or number 2? Number 1, number 2, number 2, number 1. 2, we got 2. Okay, all right. This was 2, right? I don't even remember which one was which now. Okay, all right. So anyways, now 800, 3 times 800 will put you at what? A total of 2,400 for the week of ALP. So for today, we're going to use an example of this. So let's just use the example of us seeing 10 families for a week, and out of 10, 3 of them enrolling, 7 of them not enrolling. I always want to remind everybody of just that alone. 7 are going to tell us no. 3 are going to tell us yes. So if you look at the proportions going on here, that's disproportionate. You're getting told no twice, more than twice what you're getting told yes. That right there alone can literally kill 95% of salespeople before they even give themselves a shot at the business. That right there alone. And while we're on the subject, I'll go over some silent killers, silent but deadly. Those no's right there can take a lot of people out of the game before they even get a chance to get started, because they just can't stand to get told no. They can't take it. They don't understand that you're going to miss more shots than you take, typically. You're going to baseball. Nobody would ever play baseball if it was like that, because the Hall of Famers are batting 300. You bat 300, you're pretty much making the Cooperstown. Well, that kind of sucks. They're striking out. They're not getting on base, striking out, getting out more than they're getting on. So you got to have that batter's mentality, that sports mentality. You got to have the idea, the understanding that, and it's almost like there's something wrong. Like you're almost like twisted in your head, because when you get told no, you kind of get excited, because you know that, like, here's what I know is, like, all right, in order to get 3, I have to get 7 no's in order to get 3 yeses. So every time I'm over here, basically I'm like counting them off. I'm like, oh, I got one. I got to make some phone calls, get somebody on the phone, and just hurry up and give another presentation so someone can tell me no, so I can hurry up and get another one, you know? And then after they give me no, I'm like, thank you. God, gee, I appreciate this. I need to go find myself 2 more no's. Because if I can get 3 no's, I know I'm going to get a yes right after that. So it's like you're hurrying to try and get these no's almost out of the way. And some of our top performers this week, they didn't have the best first 2 days of the week. They really didn't. So and sometimes it's never going to be perfect. It's never going to be like you're going to get 2 no's, 1 yes, 2 no's, 1 yes. And I had to tell some of our top performers that if you're getting an abnormal amount of no's, and your presentation and everything's still good, then guess what you're going to have coming? You're going to have an abnormal amount of yeses right around the corner. So just know that this is the typical equation here, and you got to be okay with it. And you have to think pretty much the exact opposite of what most people do. Most people avoid sales, or they avoid putting themselves out there. They avoid asking for something because they don't want to get rejected. Rejection is something that a lot of people just can't handle. That might be why one of your best friends right now is still single. That might be why, because they're just afraid to go up to someone and say something because they don't want to get told no. Right? So there's a saying, this is one of the biggest pieces of enlightenment that I've had in my career, is when I was told this. I was told that if you're afraid to go ask that person for their phone number. You're afraid to ask for the sale. You're afraid because you don't want to get told no. You don't want to get rejected, right? You don't want no. So what are we afraid of? We're afraid of no. So then someone said to me, they said, well, let me ask you this. If you do not go up to that person and ask them for their phone number, what's the answer going to be for sure? Guaranteed. 100%. It's a guaranteed no. Guaranteed no. So what are you afraid of? Are you afraid of no? Because if you're afraid of no, then you should be terrified to not ask. Because if you don't ask, that's guaranteed. You're guaranteed going to get what you really don't want to have happen. So it's a really cool way to flip your thinking on these no's. And there's so many more different ways, and you're going to have to you're going to get introduced to the best version of yourself in this business. It's going to, you're going to have to be. Okay, this is going to bring the best of you out. I'm telling you, you're going to let go of some of your bad habits. It's going to be great. Hopefully you're going to pick up some good habits, and to make room for the good habits that you're going to want to pick up, you're going to probably have to let go of some of the bad habits that you need to make room for. Letting go, All right. Well, let's go back to the numbers so we don't get too far off track here. For today, in all the numbers, actually, you know what? I told you I was going to go over a couple of the deadly killers, and I'll hit you with a couple more. Okay. First of them is, we're in sales, we get told no. We already went over that, right? We work different hours. So like when most people are off, that's when we got to work, because that's when we meet with everybody who's working. I want to meet with people that are making money. So the people that I want to meet with are all working. So I can't meet with them when they're working. I have to meet with them when? After they're working. So that's just a whole different scenario. When everybody's at home watching Dances with the Stars, you can't be watching Dancing with the Stars or The Masked Singer or the 6 o'clock news. You just got to give that stuff up. Now, back in the day, they didn't have TiVo. Now they got TiVo, you don't got to miss nothing. You could still watch the Dancing with the Stars. Just hit the record button and catch it on later after you hit your numbers. That's cool too. But yeah, we're going to have to do that. We work different hours. We get paid differently. That's different for people. Everybody else out there is on this whole trading time for money thing. That's where, hey, I'll give you 40 hours. All right, I'll give you about 800 for them 40 hours. So you mean you're telling me I'm worth $800? So people are putting price tags on other people. Here we get to make up what our own price tag is for our money and our time. Here, what's cool is if you understand the long term, this is you building a business. You have to have more of an employer mindset versus an employee mindset. That's where a lot of people lose here is they come in and they treat this like an employee, and you're not going to do well if you treat this like an employee. You have to treat it like you're the employer. This is where you can be in business for yourself, but not by yourself, which is great. We've been there. We've done that. We've dominated. We broke all the records. We know how to do this. We can get you where you want to get, hopefully a lot faster than we got there. But you got to have the right mindset coming in. And what would be, we get paid differently, understanding that. Those are some of the things that crush people, in the business is the time, the entrepreneurship, never was really having to run your own business before. So you got to just keep, be aware of that kind of stuff. All right, now back to the numbers. All right, I told you guys we're going to do 2,000. Somebody erase this 2,400. Okay, and for our numbers, it's going to be easier for us to break down 2,000, and 2,000 ALP is less than 2,400. Notice what we're doing here. We're under promising to ourselves this whole entire time. If we start with a lower base number, because everything we do is going to be based on this. All right, so we get paid 2 ways every single week. We get paid weekly, 2 ways a week. The first way we get paid is in the form of commissions. So as far as commissions go, you start out at your commission rate, So as an agent, the commission rate is what? 60%. Now, for your first 45 days or so, you start at a 50% commission level and you get a 75% advance rate. After 45 days, your commission goes from 50 to 60%, and your advance rate goes to 65%. Ends up being a little bit more than what you would be making before. But so the whole point is, well, I don't even worry about going over the 50% because it's only for a month and a half. After that, you're at 60%. So every time that you write ALP, every time we write this ALP right here, we are making 60% of that. So the first way we get paid is going to be our commission. And that's going to equal 60% of that 2,000. So that's how much money, guys? $1,200. That's the commission that you made that week. Now, on top of that, well, let's just there. When you make this $1,200, we receive upfront in our paycheck in advance every week. So just remember this. You always take your commission for the week is what you're gonna get paid all that, but you take that and times it by 65%. And that's your advance for the week. So you made $1,200. They paid you this week $780 in your paycheck. So they gave you 65% of your commission this week. What did you give the company? You gave the company 1 month of premium. So the client, all the client did is give you a $67 check. So the company, all they got is $67. They take your commission and they give you 65% of your first year commission up front. They give you the other 35% of this, which is how much money, guys? You made $1,200. Yes, you got it. You got it. You made $1,200. They only gave you $780 of your $1,200. So you have another 35% that they didn't give you yet, and that is equal to $420. When do you get this money?
6 months later.
When the client pays their premiums, you'll start to receive this month 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and they'll give you this. That's why you see people in the meeting. I don't know if you were in the meeting today, we had people getting checks for $900 and Marvin's only been here for 8 months. That money is not a renewal money. That's not residual money. The renewal money. Renewal money doesn't come in until the client pays all 12 months. And now they're in their second year. And when the client pays 13 months, that's when your first renewal check will come. 13 months. That's when the first renewal check comes. And now the client from that point forward is going to continue to pay every single month. So now in month 14, whatever you got in month 13, guess what you're getting 14? The same thing off that same client. But also now you have another month paying, you got this one's paying month 2, but now you got another one paying month 1. And then in month 15, this month's paying month 3, then you got this one paying month 2, this one paying month 1, and then they start stacking on top of one another. So the renewals start kicking in after your first year. If you get any money in your first year, that's not a renewal money, that's them releasing to you your back end 35% money. So this week in your commission, you made $1,200, they gave you $780 up front, they put $420 into the back end for you. That's going to get released to you over the next few months, as long as you have good quality of business. If you sign 10 people up and all 10 clients stay on the books, then what is your retention number? 100%, right? It's like a trick question. It's 100%, 10 out of 10. Well, let's say that you signed up 10 people and 9 of them are still on the books and 1 of them is no longer on the books. Now what's your retention? 90%, okay? Still good. You're good with the company. You're okay. They'll give you bonuses. If you sign up 10 people and 2 of them fall off, now you're at what? 80%. Still good. Still good, right? If you sign up 10 people and 3 of them fall off, now you're at what? 70. Now you're at 70. Now you are no good. No bueno. No mas, not good. If you're at 70%, the company standard is 73. You are now below company standard. So what's the difference between having 7 deals stay on and having 8 deals stay on? 1 deal, just 1 deal, right? So anyways, the whole point is the company will take a look at your rates and all that you guys sit at, your retention rates, and you can earn extra bonuses, you can earn extra incentives for having high quality of business. But also if you have low quality of business, then they won't pay people bonuses. You could lose a bonus for a month.
Hey, I have a quick question about that retention rate.
Yes.
So that retention rate, is it based off of like the first year of the policy, the first 6 months, or like the life of the policy?
Here's what's nice about it. The company is like so nice. If you sign 10 people up, they don't have to all stay on the books for a whole year or 10 months or 10 years. They're actually only asking for it to make sure that it pays at least 4 months. That's it. That's it. As long as the client pays at least 4 months, you're good. So that's the number. All right. let's stay over here though, because I want to keep this thing moving, or else I could go on. I could go on and on about the pay. There's so many different things to talk about, so I want to try and keep it moving as good as we can. So far the commission, has everybody got it now? How this works? There's really nothing else to go over here.
35%, they just spread it out.
Yeah. This 35%, you'll get this typically in month 9, 10, 11, and 12 is when the bulk of it gets paid out. But they start giving it to you a little bit, but it's not much. You know, that's why you'll see some people get like a $40 check or something.
They had like 18 or 19.
Yeah. So, but yeah, that's a good question there. So that's when you get that back end money. And then after 12 months pays out, now it turns into a renewal. Okay. So the renewal, guys, starts out at 3%. So if you did 2,000 this week, you're going to get 3% a year paid to you. So what's 3% of 2,000? $60. $60, right? A year. How long will the client pay for this? The client should pay for it forever. Let's just say 20 years. If the client pays 20 years on the policy and you're making $60 a year, how much is that? That's $1,200 that you're getting paid in renewal money. Plus, what do we get paid in commissions? $1,200, right? So far, that's really $2,400 in total income, but we get paid 2 ways every single week. The first way is commission, the second way is bonus. So here's how the bonus would work. So we'll put a 1 here for commission, 1, 2 for bonus. So the way the bonus works, it's on a weekly basis. You're going to receive this money. Every single week we get paid our bonus. It gets calculated and built up monthly. It resets at the end of the month and it starts over again and builds back up. Okay, so you can build up a big monthly bonus, but you're going to still get it paid weekly. Okay, the first $1,000 of business that we write, we don't get any bonus on it. Then from 1,000 to 3,500, you're going to get a 10% bonus just on that business. From 3,500 to 5,500, you're going to get a 14% bonus. 5,500 to 7,500, 16%. 7,500 all the way up to 12,000, 18%. And when you're over 12,000 for the month, all that business, you're going to make 20% bonus on that. So if you could imagine, it's like a sliding scale, like sort of how they did taxes. So like, you know, for the first $3,500 in business that you write, you're going to get a 10% bonus on that. But then the next 2,000, you're going to get a 14% bonus on that. And then the next 2,000, you're going to get a 16% bonus on that. And then the next 3,500 or whatever, that 45, you're going to get a 18% bonus. And then once you're at 12,000 for the month, all the business that you do, you're getting a 20% bonus on that. So the goal is to get to 12,000 ALP for a month as quick as possible. Bless you. Because you're going to be at your highest bonus level at that point. That makes sense? So the goal is, hey, week 1, if I could get 12,000 done and I write 12,000 in week 1, then the rest of the month, every piece of business I write, I'm at a 20% bonus level. I'm at the highest bonus the rest of the month. So that's the whole goal with the bonuses. So I'm going to give you guys a quick cheat sheet so you can keep this in your notes. And anytime you want to just figure stuff out, you could go right here and get the numbers. Okay. So we'll start over here. We'll say the cheat sheet will go like this. If you do 4,000, 4K in a month, your bonus will equal $320. This is for the month. So the whole entire month goes by. You end up doing 4,000 this month. You can count on they paid you 320 in bonuses this month. Now, let's say the month goes by and you did 6K this month. Guess what your bonus was this month? $610. If we did 8K for the month, our bonus is $940 for the month. If someone does 10K for the month, their bonus is $1,300 for the month. If someone does 12K for the month, the bonus is $1,660. Anything that we do over this, I do like 1K equals plus 200. So for every $1,000 in business that we do over 12K, we'll give an additional $200 bonus to you. So just add 200 for every 1,000 you go over that 12. So once again, 4K for a month, your bonus is 320, 6K 610, 8K 940, 10K 1,300, 12K 1,660, and 1,000 would be $200 over that. So okay, so now let's stay here for a second. Let's say that you did 2,000 ALP for a week. Using this information that I just gave you, what would be your weekly bonus? Let's see. I'll be surprised if you guys can figure this out, but you should be able to though.
2K for, you did 2K in a week.
Yeah, if you did 2K in a week, what would be your bonus? What would be your bonus? We got $100 here in the office. The first 1,000 don't count. You're right, actually. You're right. But let's just say that you did 2,000 a week for the month. What would be your average weekly bonus? That's an easier way to figure it out. It's right behind me. Yeah, holy cow. He got the number. He got it. This is good. Now let's see if Evelyn can get it. Come on, you got that green pen over there. Green for money. We're talking about money. Figured you would get it. We got another green one. Come on, Devin.
If we sold
Yes.
2K, you're saying 2K in a week?
Yes, if you do 2K a week, okay, what is your average weekly bonus? So basically, here, I'll give it to you. It's right over here behind me. See these numbers? So we got to find 8, right? Where's the 8 on here? Find the 8. Why? Because if you do 2,000 a week, how much are you doing a month?
8,000.
If you
so
do 2,000, yeah.
235.
So if you do 8,000 a month, what's your bonus for the month? 940, right? So if your bonus for the month is 940, then what's the bonus for the week?
235.
You got it, 235, and that's what we had here in the office as well. He figured it out, 235. You see how we figured that out though? So the nice now, if you know this chart here, you can pretty much figure out what people's weekly bonuses are, you know. So for this conversation now, let's get back at it. We got to put the bonus up here. So I'm going to slide number 2. We're just going to, because I got the numbers there. 2 is going to be the bonus, okay? And the bonus is equal to what? 235 for the week. So this person for the week saw 10 people, 3 of them bought. They end up doing about 2,000 ALP. So in their commission, they make $1,200. Up front, though, they got 780. So 780, and then also up front for the week, they also got a bonus of 235. So when you add 780 and 235, that is the total income that gets deposited into that person's bank account this Friday. We take this business from last week, today's Monday, right? So all the business that everybody did last week, everybody uploaded that today, and then we get paid on that Friday. So every Monday we upload the business, and then every Friday we get paid on what we uploaded on Monday. So we get paid every what? Every Friday, and we get paid a bonus in advance every Friday. Now, after you're here for a couple months, you're also going to get monthly these release check money and monthly renewal money coming to you. Okay. So any questions on how we figured this stuff out? Make sense? So now if somebody does 2,000, what's their total income? $1,015. 1015. So if you do the math, it's half. It's half. If you do 2,000 and you make 1,000, you pretty much make half. So, you know, whatever you do for the week, you should make half of that this week. But that's not the end of it at all. That's only 50%. When you write 2,000 ALP, you're going to end up getting paid over 136% of this number. Check this out, right? You're going to get 780 plus 235 plus $1,200 in renewals. Add that up. 1,200 plus 1,200 is 2,400. Because the commission is $1,200, so you get paid all that first year. Renewals $1,200, and then we get a bonus of $235. So that ends up being $2,635 off of. That's more than the ALP that we even did. I'm pretty sure we've been saying 136. I don't know where that came from. I'm sure we figured it out one day. But 2,635 divided by 2,000, is that how we do it? That's 1.31. Is that right? So 131? Yeah. So you'd maybe take 2,000 divided by 2,635.
If you're at a higher bonus, you might hit that number.
Yeah. So it's like 131%. Whatever the number is, we figured out.
When you were talking about it on the last meeting, you guys were going off the 2,400 instead of just the 2,000. I think that's where we're up to 136.
Maybe.
I think,
Yeah. Yeah. So if you are at a higher ALP per month, guys, then you're right. It's going to be a higher percentage as well, because you'll be at a higher bonus level. So yeah, we're just using this 2,000. So anyways, does that make sense though? Makes sense how the numbers work out there and in the contracts and percentages and all that. So yeah, somebody was like, hey man, if you come work over at this company, we give people 100% contracts and this and that. And it's all just the flash in the pants and all that. I've been around, I've been in this industry since 2005, whenever I graduated college, 2005. So I don't know how many years is that? 16. I'm doing 16 years. And my dad did this before I did this. And he worked with multiple insurance companies. There's an insurance company that if he wrote 2,000 ALP and he was at a 60% contract, he would make $1,200 commission, but they wouldn't pay him the commission until the client made all their premiums for a full year. So imagine selling someone today and then you have to wait a full year before you get your commission. So I remember my dad told me, he said it sucked because it's like I wanted to pay, but then also he said if I wanted to get paid, I would have to convince the client to pay a full year up front. He's like, you think getting them $100 a month is tough? Trying $1,200 all at one time. you know? So that was one company. Now he said the other company he worked for did the opposite. The other company actually, if you made $1,200 for the week in your commission, they paid you all $1,200, boom, that week. But if for some reason that policy didn't get issued or they canceled or, you know what I mean? They didn't pay all 12 months. They canceled in that first year. They were hitting you with chargebacks. So then I would be working and I'd say, how come I didn't get paid off the business I wrote? And they say, oh, because you got charged back from all the business that we paid you on up front. So what our company does is like a hybrid. They give us 65 up front. They hold the 35 almost as protection for us in the back end so we don't damage our renewals. So my dad, that's pretty cool, you know? So anyways, understanding it a little bit helps. You know, I came from a background where my dad was an insurance agent. I worked for 3 years as a financial advisor on Wall Street, guys. You know, I was a stockbroker, Series 7, Series 66. I sold annuities, stocks.
Did you sit up on the exchange at all or no?
No. I was in Pittsburgh.
My dad's cousins, well, it's back, a long time ago, he used to sit up on the stock market.
In New York.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got a lot of friends that still like to do it and all that. I did it for 3 years, but having that exposure, I got to see a lot. I got to see how different commission structures worked on different products, all the different life insurance policies out there, and how you get paid in different companies. So I had a lot of exposure, and I had a lot of friends that were in the industry to work for different companies. So I was familiar with commission structures and all that. And when I saw this opportunity, the thing that caught my eye was, number one, was the marketing, because time is probably our most valuable asset. And man, I was burning the candle at both ends. I was chasing people around, marketing, cold calling, prospecting. I was always trying to find clients, guys. Imagine if you had to spend 90% of your time finding people out of thin air, like creating them. The company didn't give me any resources at all to start with. They basically said, write 250 people that you know, write them down, start calling them, and that's how you're going to get started. And after you do that, best of luck to you. That lasted me a month or two. After 2 months, I was back to square one. I didn't know what to do. Every week I had to wake up, and I came up with some crazy stuff, guys. I did some crazy stuff. I bought tickets to a baseball game. I called my clients. I said, hey, if you can bring somebody that you think would be a good client for me, you guys can come to the baseball game Friday night. I'm just trying to think of ways to get new clients and bring them on board. I'm spending $500 on Pirate tickets, and it turned out I didn't even get no clients off of it, and half the people didn't even show up. I mean, I got burnt more ways than one trying to figure out ways to get clients, and I put my time and put money out there. I was more of a network, like I was an event planner more than I was a financial advisor, really. I was spending more time cold calling, prospecting, marketing, and planning these harebrained schemes to get clients than I actually spent in front of a computer financial advising people, So I left that career and I came here when they showed me, hey, look, we have clients, we have leads. I couldn't believe it. Like, you mean I could spend 80% of my time in front of people, 80% of my time chasing people around? I'm like, I'll get way more sales that way. And then if you're trying to get into leadership and build a team, I saw my boss as a financial advisor. He was trying to get all these financial advisors to be successful so he could have a successful office, a successful team. And not only did we have to get our Series 7, Series 66 life accident health and all that, which took 6 months. So you guys think getting your life insurance license is tough. It took me 6 months to even get in the door there. And then when you get in the door, they're like, congratulations, you get to cold call and prospect all day. And here, write down 250 people you know. Like, what? So here, it takes us 2 weeks to get our license. You show up here, you get your training down. We'll give you leads. These leads are costing $26 a lead. That's what the leads that people out here are touching. They're getting their fingers on, they're touching them, calling them. You see these big numbers, They're great. We got great systems. It's all great, but it's not one ingredient that makes a good soup. You know, a good soup is what made the soup good. Everything. That's why it was so good, because it had all that stuff mixed in it together. So one of the ingredients we got, really good leads. So we have to know what we're dealing with to appreciate that, though, too. Coming from where I come from, I never got a lead. So when they gave me a lead, it was like as good as gold for me. I couldn't believe it. I'll call that sucker. I'll knock on their door. I'll do whatever. Now, somebody who never had to cold call and prospect, they'll get a lead. They'll call it one time. The person don't answer. They'll want to throw it in the garbage. That's garbage. They didn't answer. Whoa, buddy, I'll take that. Whoa. That's just coming from that means they don't understand. They didn't grow up where I grew up. I grew up in an area where you don't get any leads. So when you get a lead, it's like, oh, they grew up in an area where they never been in this industry before. They don't even know. So there's no lack of understanding, and lack of understanding causes lack of appreciation, and lack of appreciation causes low performance. So just understanding that when you get released, you get out on your own. You're not with you're by yourself, and you open up your impact, and you look in there, and there's 100 leads staring at you. It's at least $2,000 that you didn't have to pay for, that somebody invested into you, right? So that was something I came in and I couldn't believe it. I was like, wait, and when am I going to get the bill for these? Like, no bill. I'm like, you got to be serious. No, that's it. You get the lead. Here's the fact is, if you do a good job, guess what we're going to do, Tommy? We're going to give you more of them. We're going to give you more of them. And every month, you're going to get more and more and more. So you can continue to perform. And then if you want to build a team, guess what? Those people can get their license in 2 weeks, get trained up in 2 weeks, and have themselves a $2,000 lead pack for free that you didn't have to pay for it. They didn't have to pay for it. And you could build your team just like that. Versus my guy who is the financial advising, you know what he had to do? He had to get these people in. It took 6 months to build his team, to get somebody in the door. And then when they got in the door, he's trying to like, come on, why aren't you making sales? I want to be number one. I want the team to blow up. Why aren't you making sales? The guy's like, because I'm cold calling and prospecting all day. And then you go over to AIL and you're like, dude, these guys at AIL are eating. What are they doing? Oh, well, all their new people, they just get to call brand new leads and call them, book them, and sell them. Like, they don't have to spend any time. Cool. And then the people who get into management, all their people that they're training, they're all getting leads and running them. They don't have to cold call and prospect and wait for them to get going. And we're putting points up on the board, you know? So that's the difference in the industry a little bit. And I could go on and on, but trying to give you guys a little bit of insight. It's different. We're different. The whole company's different, man. It's different than any company out there. There really is. There's nothing like it. Nothing. There's nothing in the world. It's the only one. This is it. It's the only one. Yep. You want to know what? You'll never get an email from our company. Nope. Our company is not emailing all the licensed agents out there trying to get them aboard. We're not out there. We don't go after other companies' agents. We don't want them. In fact, if you're already licensed, I probably don't really want nothing to do with you because you probably got some bad habits. Been trained a different way. I'd rather take somebody who's trained to this system and knows this system, you know, because it works. So guys, let's keep it going now. Now that we know this, we can move a lot faster, okay? We can move a lot faster. So I'm going to erase this now, and let's go to a promotion to a supervisor, and just talk about the money, okay? So when you're an agent, you're at 60%. When you're a supervisor, what happens? When you're a supervisor, it goes up to 62.5%. So now, if you are a supervisor and you have an agent, the agent is at 60, you're at 62.5. So when they write $2,000 in business, they're going to get paid on 60% of that. And then you're going to be sitting at 62 and a half. So you're going to collect the difference. That's the first way we get paid, is in our commission as an essay. The commission. So the commission as an essay is what? What's the percentage? The difference of these two, which is 2.5%. So the supervisor gets paid two ways in leadership. The supervisor gets paid two ways in leadership. The first way that we get paid in leadership is our commission. The commission is whatever override we have on that person. So if that person's at 60 and I'm at 62 and a half, I get that 2.5 difference. Okay. So that's the first way. Let's figure out how much that actually is going to be this week based upon the example that we used before, which was when you become a supervisor, we said to have a supervisor, and then we want you to have three agents, all at 2,000 ALP. 3 agents at 2,000 ALP would mean your team did 6,000 for the week. Okay. What do we get paid on that? Whatever your
$150
team
bucks.
does, $150, 2.5%. You got it. So our commission equals $150, and then we get advanced 65%. So 65% is roughly about $100 or so. So when you're a supervisor, first way we get paid is our commission off of the team, which is our override times the team's business, which was 2.5% times 6,000. And that equaled $150. $150 is our commission, but we get advanced 65% up front. So this week in our advance income, like what we got paid Friday was how much? $100. $100. That's what we got paid this week. Okay. Now, also, when you're in leadership, you also get what? Leadership bonus. Leadership bonus. What is the bonus? Well, when you're a supervisor, I'll put it over here. The supervisor's bonus is 125% for the first 90 days that your trainee, your agent is here. So if your agent is in their first 3 months, whatever their bonus is, you get 125% of that. Of whatever their bonus is. Yep.
So if they did that for the month and we said they were getting $235 a week, we get 125% of the $235.
Correct. Yep. Whatever the agent's bonus is, you get 125% of that. Now, that's for their first 90 days, right? So what happens after that? Now, after 90 days, you get 25% of their bonus. When you're a supervisor, you're going to have some people that are in their first 90 days. And you're going to have some people that are out of their first 90 days eventually, right? So, you know, what is your bonus really going to be? Is the bonus going to be 125 or is it going to be 25? Well, for some it will be, and some it won't be. So the company did an average, guys, and the average is 75%. So forget all this over here and just say, whatever my team bonuses for the week, I'm going to get 75% on average. Okay? Does that make sense? Just to keep it simple. So now let's figure it over here. We had 3 agents, right? All do what? 2,000. So that means we had 3 agents all bonus at 235. So 3 times 235 is $705 for the week in bonus money that got paid out to the team. So that's what the team earned, right? Now, what we do is we say, whatever the team earned in a bonus, since I'm the supervisor, I get what? At least, or I'll get on average, 75% of that. So all we do, just take the team bonus for the week, 705, times it by 75%. 475 is what we got, close to that. All right, 705 times 0.75, 528. So we'll call it 525, guys. So your bonus for the week is going to equal 525. And then remember, your advance on commission is going to be what? 100. So if your advance is 100 and your bonus is 525, total income, leadership income for the week for you being the supervisor is $625 for the week. What did we do to get that done? We had 3 people hit average numbers of 2,000 for the week. Now, on top of this $625 that we made, you're also going to lead from the front, and you're still going to go see clients. And if you only do 2,000, then what are you going to make? Personally, you're going to get paid a commission, and personally, you're going to get paid a bonus for the week. And that's going to add up to, if you do 2,000, you should make at least what? 1,000. So if you make 1,000 off your personal sales, and then we make 1,600 off of our team sales, I'm sorry, 600 off our team sales, we made a total of 1,625 or more for the week. And over the course of a year is about $82,000 right there. So that's how you get that thing started in that thing going. I think that's everything we wanted to go over. Let's keep up for a second. Any questions on this?
So the 2.5% is just on the bonus stuff. You're still getting 60% off the ALP, the 65 advance.
The 2.5% is the override. That's your commission. That's your commission. You make a 2.5% commission off the team, which was $150 for the week.
Right.
And then you still get your advance of 65%, so it's $100. And then whatever the team gets in a bonus, you get 75% of that. So we get paid 4 ways when you're a supervisor. Number 1 is the commission off the team. Number 2 is the bonus off the team. Number 3 is your personal commission from your personal business. And number 4 is your bonus, your personal bonus from your personal business. So that's pretty nice right there. What happens now is you get into your second year, you're in leadership, and you got a team going. So your team might be kicking you out. You're maybe making, in this situation, about $2,400 a month or so off the team. And then you might be making $1,000 a month in residual income. So in your second year, you got $3,500 a month coming in. before you even wake up and write any business yourself? And do you think you're going to be better or worse in your second year? So you should be obviously better in your second year. Your renewals will be coming in. And if you're in management, you have a supervisor, you have a base. So people are like, I want a base income. Go build your base as big as you want your base income. My base income is $22,000 a month before I even wake up. It's residual income, you know? So you guys can build that up. And when you become an RGA, you get paid 6 ways. I'll show you that in a second. Devin had a question.
Yeah, quick question. So as a SA or like a GA or anything, aside from an agent, do you get paid residual from your team's income too? From your team's residual income?
Yes. Yes, sir, man. Good question. So the agent is at 3%. The SA is at 4%. The GA is at 5%. And the MGA 7%. RGA 8%.
I have a quick question about that.
That's the renewal. Yeah.
So does that work in a similar fashion as the commission percentages do, where say the SA is making 4%, but really they're only making 1% on their team sales, but 4% on their personal sales?
Exactly. You got it. You got it. So did everybody understand that question? Yeah? You want me to explain it again? Or pretty straightforward. So if you're a supervisor, anything that your team does, you're going to get a 1% renewal on their business. And anything that you do, you'll get a 4% renewal on your personal business. Hey, that's not a bad increase, because if you're an agent, you're at 3 to 4, that's a 33% increase in your renewals. But the nice thing is like Gio wrote $12,000 this week. He's an MGA. He's going to get 7% renewal on all that business he just wrote. More than twice what an agent would get, because he worked his butt off and got promoted. You know? So good question on that. Plus Gio's team did 55,000 for the week. And he's at 7 and the GA is at 5. So he got a 2% override on all that. You know? All right. In commission or in renewals. So that's just the renewals. Okay. So I think we're good over here. Those are the 4 ways. All right. So now let's go from a GA or from an SA to a GA. We'll use the same example we talked about, which is we're going to say that I could make this a little bit neater, I guess. You know, the GA is at a 5% renewal, and the GA is at what contract level? What do you guys think? 60 what? 0.5. 69.5. What do you think? 66.5. Evelyn, Thela.
65%, 65.5.
65.5.
I'm going to say 66.5 if it hasn't been said.
66.5. We got the same one here in Pittsburgh. Not in Pittsburgh, in the office here in Chicago.
Oh, okay. 64.
64. Okay. So if this was the Price is Right, we got the winner here. The answer is 67.5. 67.5. So the GA contract is 67.5. Notice how the difference between the agent and the SA was what? 2.5. The difference between the SA and the GA is what? A solid 5. You double. It's a double. So that's cool. Okay. Now, what's the team look like? Well, you're a GA. What's your team look like? Definitely got an SA, right? So you're a GA, you got your SA. Let's use the example of 2 SAs. And each SA having 3 agents. Each SA having 3 agents. Each agent doing 2,000. Each SA doing 2,000. So this team's doing a total of 8. This SA doing 2. Each of their people all doing 2. So they're doing another 8,000. Okay. So your GA team is doing about 16,000 for a week. Let's call it 15,000 for even numbers. We know we're going to get paid 2 ways this week. Basically, if we want to keep it simple, how many people did we have? About 8? About 8 people. So we know we have 8 people times 2,000 each gives us 16,000, and we're just going to call it 15,000 for numbers. Okay. So the first way we get paid is our commission. Okay, good. Here's our commission. Our commission is 5% now, right? So we get a 5% override on the team. 5% of what? Of the total business. So we'll call it 15 grand. 5% of 15 grand is 750. So our commission equals $750. And if we times that by 0.65, 750 times 0.65 is 487. So we'll just call it like 480. So times 0.65 is $480. So the first way we get paid for being the GA is we're going to get about $480 in our commission for the week. The second way we're going to get paid is our bonus. So the bonus now is, I'm going to erase some of this stuff over here. We'll put the bonus so we can see it over here now. The bonus is remember it was 90 days, right? So for the first 90 days, the bonus is 135%. And for 90 days plus, the bonus is 50%. So people that are on your team, no matter like 3 months or 3 years, from now until forever, as long as you're the GA, you're going to get half of their bonus. They could be in Alaska and working virtually. They could be your cousin who lives in Georgia, and they could be working virtually. And every time your cousin gets a bonus, you're going to get half of their bonus forever and ever and ever. So now we know that if people are in their first 90, I'm going to get 135. If they're out of their first 90, I'm going to get 50. Just like the supervisor, they took a blend and said on average, it's about 85%. So the GA on average will get 85% of the team bonus. So what's the team bonus? Well, we had 8 people do 2,000. So that means we had 8 people all bonus at 235, right? So if we have 8 people bonus at 235, what's that pay us? You're probably right. 8 times 235, 1880. Right on. So 1880 is the total amount of bonus money that got paid to the team. So the team gets paid 1880. They all get paid their bonuses. And for you being the GA, you're going to receive 85% of that. So times 0.85 is 1598. That's for the week. So I don't know where we can write this at. What's bonus over here? You know, bonus number 2. 1598 is the bonus. Plus 480 is the commission. So plus 480 puts us, oops, oh yeah, 2078. So total income for the team for the week is 2078. And that's still without the GA going to see any of their clients. This past week, Matt Hunsberger is a GA. He did 7,100. Austin Oaks is a GA. She works from home, single mom, does it all. She's like Superwoman, can't believe what she does, and never makes any excuses, and the most appreciative person ever. She's so thankful and happy for everything. And believe me, you think she goes through some stuff, she's a single mom, right? So just when you think you're having a bad day, just think Austin wrote 11 grand last week, and she's a GA. So for my GAs that are here, they're usually pretty good with the ALP. So for a GA to go out there and write 2,000 for a week is like, that's like a Tuesday afternoon for them. They should, it's easy. It's a walk in the park. Does that make sense, guys? So the GA also goes out for the week and writes 2,000, and they end up making how much? $1,000 in income off their personal business. So you make 1,000 in personal income, and then we make another, 2,000 off the team, and that's how the GA generates a $3,000 week income week like that. So that's where the numbers come from. That's where it all happens. I was a GA in 2 months. 2 months, yeah. MGA in 8 months, yes. So I was an SA after 1 month, and then a GA after 2 months. Yeah, I wrote 24,000 my first month, and like another 24,000, 30,000 my second month, and I recruited 10 people, and they were like, we're not holding anybody back, let's go. So the next thing is the MGA. MGA is at a 75% contract. So if we know that the GA is at 67.5, MGA is at 75, what's the split there? 7.5% on that one. So now the MGA gets 7.5% commission on anything that the GA's team does. Well, if we had a situation before with the GA, and the GA had 2 supervisors, well, when this GA becomes an MGA, what's going to happen to his 2 supervisors? They should go up to be their 2 what? 2 GAs. And then they should be promoting some SAs, right? So when you become the MGA from this situation right here, you're also promoting 2 GAs. And those GAs are promoting some SAs. So now you get the situation built like this, where you're an MGA. This is kind of like Vince. Vince is the MGA, Hunsberger, and then he has Pat and Dalton and Steve Adelis, and then he has Reich, and then he has Faith, and he has Marvin. I mean, this is exactly how we drew it up. And sometimes it don't work like this. Some teams grow. This team just blows up. This team takes longer. Sometimes there's like just, we run it all. There's only one SA or something. But if you can build it structurally, this is the most structurally sound situation you can be in. It gives you some foundation. So let's take a look now at the numbers, okay? We know that this GA team should be doing how much per week? 16,000 per week, right? So we're going to call it 15 just for easy number's sake. And then this team should be doing 15,000 a week. So the total MGA team is going to be doing 30,000 a week. All right. That's how that's all going to work. Well, we could just probably keep it up. So the first way we get paid is the commission. Commission is going to equal 7.5% times the total ALP. 7.5 times 30,000. 7.5% times 30,000 is what? 2250. So we got $2,250. That is the commission that you just made for the week. Up front, we got to take that 65%, right? And up front, that's going to be what? $1,500 or so that you'll make. So you'll make about $1,500 in your upfront advance. The second way we get paid is the bonus, though. The bonus is going to be whatever everybody on the team gets, the MGA gets. So just plan on that. Whatever everybody on the team's bonus gets, the MGA gets in a bonus, 100%. Yeah. So yeah, how many people we got? Let's just figure how many people this is. There's like, what do we say, 8 and 8? 8 and 8. So that's 16 people. 16 people all doing 235 and a bonus equals 16 times 235. 16 times 235 equals 3760. $3,760 for the week. This is if you're an MGA and your team does 30,000 for the week. Vince's team did about 50,000 and Gio's team did like 55,000 this past week. So they'll get a bigger bonus than this, obviously. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. So you know, total income now will be, you get the bonus. Your leadership bonus will be what? 3,760. Right? Whatever your team gets, you get. So you're 30, and then also your commission will be 1,500. So that's $5,200 for the week in income. That is off of a team doing 30,000, and still keep in mind the MGA can go out for the week and write some business themselves. Gio just wrote 12,000. So Gio is going to make this week $6,000 off his personal production, plus his team minus his production maybe did like 45 or so. The percentage on this is if you do 30K and you make 5K, what percentage did you make on that? What's 5 out of 30? 5, 1, 2, 3 divided by 30. 16%? Yeah. So the MGA makes a total of about 16% of the total production that the team does, right? So if the team does 45,000 times 2, 3 times 0.16, Gio made $7,200 this week off of his team. And then he also wrote 12 grand. So then he made another what? He made another 6 grand, or probably more because he's on a 75% contract. You know, he's on a 75, so he's going to get a higher commission than an agent would, obviously, 25% higher actually. So yeah, he probably made, you know, another 6 or 7 grand over there. So probably made a good 13, 14 grand for the week just off of that. Let me keep going on Gio's paycheck though. This is real stuff. You think we're done yet? Watch this. Gio. Oh man, he don't even know. He just works. He has no clue how much money he even makes sometimes. Like, I have to call him and ask him, I'm like, hey, did you see they gave you like 10 grand? He's like, did they? Oh, that's cool, dude. He's like, can I call you back? I'm in a meeting. so, so check this out. He's an RGA. He's an RGA. Oh man. So when you're an RGA, your contract level goes from a 75% to what? 80% contract level. So imagine this. Imagine you got an RGA right here. This is you. And you have an MGA. Your MGA is at what? 75. Your MGA is at 75. And you're at 80. Right? Whatever that team does, you're going to get what? 5%. Right? Okay. Well, if the MGA does 30,000 for the week, you get 5% of that. So what's 5% of 30,000? So when you're an RGA, you get paid 2 ways. Leadership. You actually get paid 6 ways. But the first way is what? You get paid your commission, right? The commission is going to be 5%. That's your override times whatever the MGA team did. They did 30 grand. Times 30 grand equals $1,500. We get what advance on that? 65% advance. So that's going to give us about $1,000 in our advance. So that's the first way. The second way we get paid now, okay, is whatever bonus the MGA gets, the RGA gets. So let's look at our notes for a second. If the MGA team does 30,000, what is their bonus? What we just did it. What's the MGA's bonus? Was it 37? Right? What do you guys have?
3760.
3760. 3760, right? So you know when your MGA does 30 grand, you know they're going to get what kind of bonus? A $3,700 bonus for the week. When that MGA gets a $3,700 bonus, guess what they're going to give the RGA? A $3,700 bonus. So the RGA made 1,000 plus 3,700, which is a total of $4,700 for the week. Here's the key though. If this is the situation, you see how this, who's the RGA? Who's the RGA? You. That's you. This is you. You're the RGA. Who's the MGA? That's the person that you developed. That's the person that you mentored. That's the person that used to be your GA when you were an MGA. And then they got promoted to the MGA, so now you're the RGA, right? But I want you to see something else in this scenario that's not on the board right now, okay? There's one other thing that we don't know about that you're not thinking of. There's another MGA, guys. There's another MGA. Now here's almost like a trick question. Who's this MGA? Who is he? Who is this? What's this person's name? You want to know the person's name is this person's name. This person's name is this person's name. They are the same person. They're the same person. Let me use a real life example for you real quick. Ready? Geo is Vince's RGA. Who's the MGA? Vince. Who's the RGA, guys? Geo, right? Who's this MGA? This is Geo too. Geo has his own MGA team. Gio has his own MGA team. You guys with me? He has his own MGA team. They did 55,000 this week. So he ran his own MGA team, but he's also the RGA over Vince. Now, using the scenario that we just went over, let's not use the real numbers that Gio did this week. Let's use these numbers. If Vince does 30 grand, we know that the RGA is going to make $4,700 off of that, right? Gio is going to make 47. What if Gio does 30 grand and he don't write any business himself? You just figured out, what are you going to make? $5,200. If an MGA does 30 grand, their bonus is $3,760, and then their advance is $1,500, right? So if Gio does, MGA paycheck is what? $5,200 for the week, right? Hey, if Vince does 30 grand, what's Vince's MGA paycheck for the week? About 5,200, right? But if you're an RGA over an MGA, the MGA does 30 grand, they make 5,200, the RGA makes 4,700. So the point is, in this scenario, if Vince does 30 grand, Gio makes what? $4,700. And if Gio does 30 grand, what's Gio make? $5,200. That's $9,900 for the week off of $30,000 each, okay? And that's without him writing any business. Now, let's do a real life situation. This week, Gio should make $7,200 off of his team, and he should make $6 grand off of Vince's team. And he personally wrote 12 grand. You right now know what Gio made before he knows, because he probably didn't even sit here and take the time to figure this shit out.
Now, does he get paid as both an MGA and an RGA? Or does?
Yes. Where you been for the last 5 minutes?
No,
That's
I
the
got that. I'm
point.
just trying to see, he's getting paid on both sides of it?
He said, is he getting paid as an MGA and as an RGA?
Running an MGA.
Yes,
So-
where you been? That's the whole point of the conversation. Yes.
So is he getting paid a
his
$200 per?
is getting paid RGA money
Over Vince's team.
over Vince's team, which is,
Still has an MGA.
but then he also has his MGA team that he's making MGA money on. And then he went out and wrote personal business. So he made last week $6 grand in RGA money, $7 grand in MGA money, $6 grand in personal production. He made over $19,000 last week. That's insane. Do you know we just started here a year ago with nothing? Last year, Gio was a GA. Last year when he came here, he was a GA when he came here. He just got promoted to an MGA right around this time last year. Flip 1 year later, he's at RGA making 20 grand in a week. I mean, I did some pretty incredible shit, but that's probably the most incredible shit I've ever seen.
I have a question about the bonus for the RGA.
20 grand in a week. One year later, 1 year later, 1 year later. This just happened today, so that's why it just so happened to be the training class that you guys are in, and it just so happened to be today, and that's why I'm just a little bit more excited about it, and that's why we're talking about it right now, okay? So otherwise, I'll just be going over just the normal numbers, and we probably would have been done by now. But go ahead, Devin, quick question.
Yeah, so you said that the RGA makes the same bonus as the MGA. So if Gio is the MGA and the RGA, is he making a 200% bonus versus just 100% of his teams? Okay, so
No,
if-
you still make 100%,
okay, sounds good.
you know? Geo makes 100% off of his team. Vince makes 100% on his team, and then Geo makes 100% on that team as well, whatever Vince makes. You know. Yeah, well then his overrides and stuff. But that was included in those numbers we went over. I mean, I swear to you, I swear. And remember, we lowballed the numbers to begin with.
I know we took $4,000 off.
Right? 400. We went from 2,400 to.
Well, you dropped another couple grand at the end there too. So I mean.
You're right. Yeah. We kept dropping. I always like to drop it. So guys, I know this is a lot first day, but it's really not. It's really pretty basic and fundamental, and it's not complex. It's simple, basic. The business is not easy, but it's simple. This can be the hardest thing you've ever done. We make it look simple. We try and keep it as easy as we. It's going to be hard. It's going to be hard. I'm telling you right now. So I just don't want you to underestimate what it's going to take for you to be the best version of yourself and to get the best out of this opportunity. Nobody hires a trainer to push them, and then when the trainer pushes them, you don't get upset for being pushed. That's why you hired a trainer. Because if you didn't need it, you wouldn't have hired it. You'd have been doing it yourself. You could do. But so I always tell everybody it's not going to be easy, but it's going to be worth it. It's not going to be easy, but it'll be worth it. Promise you that. What? So I think we're done here, guys. I think we're pretty much done. I don't want to hold you guys and just for any reason. I think we actually went over on our time, but hey, I wanted to give you guys everything, and I wanted to make sure we broke it down and so you understood it. By no means do I think you're going to be an expert on this, but I really think if you're going to spend time studying this business, don't just focus on your script and focus on the sales. You got to know the X's and O's. So pull yourself back every now and then. Look at the business, man. Like, we got to map this stuff out. We got to map it out. Where are we going to be at the end of this month? Where are we going to be at the end of next month? What's the goal by the end of the year? What are the targets that we need to execute along the way? And if you know these numbers, and if we know the numbers, it makes it just so much more easier to navigate through. So, there's a specific reason, guys, why I chose to run this training class, and why it's so important that we go over this specific information today on your very first day, because you have to understand the opportunity so that you can appreciate the opportunity and get the most out of the opportunity as well. And you're going to know the path is all math. You're going to hear that a lot, but literally you plug in these numbers, and if you want to go from here to here, I could show you how to go from here to here, and I could break it all down in numbers. And from here to here, for everybody here is different. So for one person here might be, I'm broke, I need to buy a car, I want to buy a house, I need to pay off my debt, and I want to have 100 grand in the bank. Okay, great. That's from here to here. Good. Let's get all that done. Now, when do you want to get there by? Because now once you put a time frame on it, I'll show you exactly how to map those numbers backwards to make sure that this money gets deposited in your bank account on this date so you can pay this credit card off by this date, and we can map it all out to have all that planned out. And it's all math, So think big, guys. Dream big when you guys dream. And you can't outthink this opportunity, man. I never could outthink it. I thought I was thinking big, and I mean, I just never could have thought I could do the things this company could do. And to be honest with you, I was thinking big for Gio. I wasn't even thinking that within a year we'd have him making $20,000 weeks. I knew we were gonna have some big weeks, but I didn't think we were gonna run it up that fast. So we're off to the races, guys, and stick with the system. Put the pressure on the system. Don't put the pressure on yourself. You're going to hear that 100 times as well. Put the pressure on the system. Do not put the pressure on yourself, and be coachable. be coachable, be hardworking, do the intangible things. Like I was going to tell everybody today, everybody's going to get a baseball card this month and it's going to have the statistics on it. But the statistics that really matter are not the ones that are actually on the back of that card, because if you win on the statistics that nobody sees, that's how you get the statistics that everybody sees. All right, hey, check this out. You see a running back. This running back is in the NFL. He's running over people. He's breaking the record, 1,700-yard games in a row. You're seeing a 2,000-yard rusher, right? And when you get the stats, that's what it's going to say. 100 yards, a carry, 100-yard games, all that. But you know what it's not going to say? What time he showed up at the gym. It's not going to show that when everybody was eating ice cream, he ate chicken and he had to be disciplined. It's not going to show that when he needed to get traded and his family finally moved into a house here, then they had to get traded to San Francisco. They had to move his family to San Francisco and then move this whole family to San Francisco. And then he didn't even get to see them because he had to go travel and be on the road and practice and on interviews and in film sessions and working out 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So he didn't even get to see his family because he's traveling all the time. They didn't put how many hours he was on the plane. They didn't put how many birthday parties and how many parties. He had to play on Christmas. He had to play on Thanksgiving. So all those statistics about how many turkey legs he didn't get to eat are not on there. Those are the statistics that aren't on there. But that's the reason why he got them statistics, is because he won on those workouts. You know what I mean? He did more reps on the bench. They don't measure that. They measured it. So all that stuff, guys. Gio, dude, right now, if I told you that Gio has worked 90 hours a week for the last 6 months, guys, and literally he didn't go home for Christmas. He didn't go home for Easter. He didn't even celebrate his own birthday. We had to drag him out to celebrate his birthday. Okay. If I told you that, which is not true, but most of it is, okay. But if I told you that, but then I also told you, oh yeah, he makes about 20 grand a week now though because of it. Would anybody here feel bad for him? Would you feel like, oh my God, that feels so horrible for the young man. He worked 6 months and didn't get to take a vacation, but he makes 20 grand a week. Oh my God, I'm going to send him a card right now and some flowers. Anybody here feel bad? So listen, nobody is going to feel bad for you when you're living the life of your dreams. Nobody's going to feel bad for you when you're taking care of everybody around you and yourself and your family. So don't feel bad for yourself while you're grinding on your way there. I would always tell myself that. Don't feel bad for yourself, Tommy, because I would start to think, Tommy, is there something wrong with you? Everybody left the office. Why are you still here? I literally would think that maybe you're slow. How did everybody get all their work done and you're still here? How did they leave at 9 o'clock and you're here till 11 o'clock? And I would think, are you just crazy? Like, why are you working so hard? You're missing out. Maybe you should go. And I would have those conversations. But I didn't. I end up staying, grinding, doing the stuff that Gio does, and I realized I wasn't the crazy one. They were the crazy ones. They had the opportunity of a lifetime. They're going to the bar at 9 o'clock. I wasn't the crazy one. They were the crazy one. I wasn't the slow one. I was the smart one. I recognized opportunity and I made sure I capitalized on it. That's smart to me. You know what's dumb is when you have the opportunity of a lifetime and you're taking it for granted. That's not smart. That's slow almost. You must not be getting it. And if you don't get it, that's why you're not getting it out there in life, because you don't get it. You know what I mean? So that was my little competitive edge that I had coming in. And I see some people that are just taking it on and taking it to the next level. And Gio is a good example of that, man. So, hey, whatever you guys do in private, it's going to shine when the light comes on. I promise you. All that stuff you do, If you guys are working together and it's 11 o'clock and you wake up the next day and you're back at it and you just grind, and before you know it, it's Sunday and you grind, you pick your head up and 2 months have gone by and you work your butt off and everything, I guarantee you, when the lights are on and when it's shining and the other people that were going home, that's going to show on their scorecard, and your results are going to show on your scorecard, you know? So anyways, I'll end on that for today. Tomorrow, today, let's go today, and then we'll go tomorrow. Today, go hook up with your manager. Give your manager a call, connect with your manager after this. And they're probably going to have you work on phones tonight. And then tomorrow, you'll be role playing in the morning, training class in the afternoon. And then tomorrow night, hopefully you guys have a bunch of appointments and you can start jumping on these appointments and start chipping into the presentations and letting it rip, guys. So have some fun with the clients. All right. And have a great night tonight as well. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.